don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, hey, what's up? What's up, buddy?
You know, the other day my friend said he knew you really liked McDonald's whenever he came to my school.
Well, that's kind of harsh.
Yeah, but it's okay. I defended you.
Thanks, son.
I told him that you like Wendy's and Whataburger and Cane's and KFC and Popeyes and Baskin Robbins and Jack in the Box and Taco Bell.
What's up, y'all? Yes, as you saw from the thumbnail, our culture's dying and it's your fault. Okay, somebody's gonna get super mad at me for that. It's my fault too. I'm not blaming just you, because there's gonna be somebody in the comments that immediately is gonna say, oh, it's not your fault, Mr. Goldwing Rider. You didn't fuck up the culture. Yeah, I did. Okay, I did, along with all of us. You know, when I thought about this video and doing a garage video about why our culture's fucked up, about why we're losing it. I mean, we are. The biker culture, the motorcycle culture, the rebellious spirit, let's say it that way. The rebellious spirit that came along with riding motorcycles is kind of gone. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. When I started this thing and I thought about doing this video, I had it clear cut in my mind who I was gonna blame. I really did. I was gonna blame Harley and Honda and Kawasaki, Suzuki. I was gonna blame everybody for the price of motorcycles. I was gonna say that, man, people in their 20s, they're not gonna spend these ungodly amounts for motorcycles. The price of motorcycles is crazy, and the price of motorcycles has gone up. But then I started looking at the price of motorcycles, and I realized that I know it says MSRP on the prices I'm looking at. That's not what you pay when you go in the dealership, because they're going to tack on money here and tack on money there. But that's not just Harley, so we're not just going to pick on Harley. Okay, that's everybody. But I had it in my mind, I'm blaming motorcycle prices. Motorcycle prices are fucking everything up for all of us. I don't think that's really the case. Reason I say that is because, number one, I just went and looked at Harley's, what I thought was their cheapest bike, the Sportster S, right? Some for right around 13, okay? 14, 13, 14. I have a little clip that shows it. Well, that's not that expensive if you stop and think about it. I know that I bought brand new bikes years ago for around that price. My first Harley I owned was a Street Bob. It was 2009. Okay, that's long ago that's been. The first Harley that I bought myself. And I paid right at 10 grand for that down the Street Bob. That was out the door. That was everything, okay? And then, of course, everybody, I understand when you say, Smitty, you're buying a stock bike. We're always going to upgrade and do things. Pipes, seat, stage one, bars, all that stuff. So, yes. But that's with any bike. So then I said, well, let me just go a little further. And I looked at what's their cheapest cruiser. And the cheapest cruiser was the Sawtell Standard, which I think it said at 14. And I thought, damn, you actually get a lot of bike for 14. Now I know I've got to pay TT&L and dealer fee, whatever else. Then I looked at a bike that everybody's falling in love with right now, which is your Lowrider ST. And they're right at 21.9, 22, okay? I may be wrong, they could have been 22 or 23. Anyway, right in that range, 21.9 I think is what I saw. And I understand you still got to pay all the fees. We already said that. But then I said, well, okay, yeah, that seems a little expensive, but I mean, you know, let's look at what how could you get if you wanted to buy a touring bike? I said, well, these motherfuckers got to be crazy expensive, right? So I looked at just a base Street Glide and a base Road Glide, and they were both 21.9, 22. I said, damn. That's wild, because I remember in 2011 getting a 103-inch Street Glide, right? It was called the 103-inch Power Pack Street Glide, right? And I drove out I had to put some parts on it because, you know, I just threw it in there because I was a dumbass. 21. And I thought, damn. You know, now that was with TT&L and everything, so you're looking at 21, 22 right now. Probably 25, 26 drive out, something like that, let's just say. Let's just throw that in there. And I drove out at 21, and that was back in 2011, right? That hasn't gone up that much. I mean, yes, bikes are expensive. My Gold Wing was $23,900 bone stock, right? Okay, I paid a little bit less than that. I put a little money down, but let's just call it what it is. And 21 when I bought it. So I was gonna blame motorcycle prices for everything, and then I started looking at used bikes, and there's just a few you're gonna see come up real quick. And I just went with different brands. I have some Hondas in there. I had a V-Rod in there, and then I had like an '08 touring bike that had like, I think 24,000 miles or some crazy. There might have been 12,000, could be wrong, for like $8,500. Because I've been saying, man, everything's crazy priced. Bikes are crazy priced. And I was like, well, shit, I kind of disproved my own theory. It's like, oh, fuck, what am I going to talk about now? But you know what? I think the reason, or one of the reasons, or a couple of reasons I'm going to give you why our culture is dying is, number one, like I said before, the rebellious spirit, it just isn't there. Man, I had visions of Easy Rider rolling through my head, man, of being on a motorcycle and being free. I had visions of Harley shovel heads and chopped Hondas and all this cool shit, right? In my head, and being rebellious and being free and getting all tattooed up and wearing nifty man rings. And I had all these things in my head that, yeah, I've got to do them now, but I ride a Gold Wing. I ride a Ziploc Glide, the Whisper Wagon. Kids don't sit there and say, man, I can't wait to save the money up, to put pennies in the penny jar, to one day put a down payment on a Gold Wing. They just don't. That's what old guys do when they get close to retirement, or they have bad backs, or they're, there's a lot of younger guys riding them. There's some 20-something guys riding Gold Wings, but that rebellious spirit's not there anymore. The kids look at us like we're just old and we're cosplaying whenever we go out riding, wearing what we wear and do what we do. They don't think it's real. They think we're full of shit. I've noticed that. The other thing I've noticed is that while the price of bikes it's gone up, yes, the cost of living has gone up. Motorcycles are considered to be a luxury item. It's not as cool, it's not as fashionable as it used to be. Things are so expensive. The cost of housing has gone up immensely. The cost of food's gone up. The cost of gas has gone up. The cost of everything around us has gone up so much that something like a luxury item, like a motorcycle, for most 20-somethings, they're like, no, man. The price of cars has gone up immensely. I can say that one's true. We got lucky and found my daughter a car for less than $5,000 that had like 80,000 miles on it. It was a Honda CRV. It's reliable, but man, the cost of like trucks, you used to be able to get a really good truck for 40, 50 grand. They're 70, 80 grand. They're not coming down right now. Housing, my God. A really nice house used to be $150,000, $200,000. Those same houses now go for $350,000, $400,000, and financing's gone up. The cost of living's gone up to where certain things, I don't know, I've looked across at other things that people do. If you don't make good disposable income, you're not buying boats as much. You're not buying motorcycles. You're not buying these things. And I really started looking at some of that stuff and look at our culture. And don't get me wrong, we just had the Galveston ride and they had 500,000 people down there. 500,000 bikers riding down there, descending upon Galveston. So yes, the culture's still there, and it's an older crowd. When I say an older crowd, it's a lot of people in their 40s and 50s. Now, don't get me wrong, I know 20s and 30 somethings who are down there having a good time riding, enjoying the lifestyle. But how do we get it back? How do we get to a point where we can make it cool to kids? Our culture's changed. Again, I'm filming on a computer. That's what I'm doing. I have a computer that goes in my pocket on the daily. When I was a kid, man, we had magazines. We used to go buy magazines to see motorcycles and flip through and get so excited when the Horseback Street Chopper, and when there was Iron Horse before that, and Easy Rider and Hot Bike and Street Chopper and all these magazines we used to take and cut out the motorcycles and put them up on our garage walls. Or we saved them and had stacks of motorcycle magazines. Well, that's dead now because digital print is everything. Everything's on digital. There's no print media anymore. All those little things like that, little things like going up to motorcycle shops and just sitting around and looking at bikes and talking to the mechanics and doing things, we don't really do that anymore. What do we do to keep our culture alive, to keep the history alive? How do we keep the history of people like Sugar Bear and Indian Larry? How do we keep that history alive? How do we keep people to know who Billy Lane is? How do we keep people alive to know who Arlen Ness was? Or Donnie Smith? How do we do that? You tell me in the comments. Leave me Leave me a comment telling me what you think, how we can make our culture back to what it was. What do we need to do to change things to make people want to ride motorcycles and be free like they used to? Hey, y'all do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon so you get notifications when the shit show gets rolling again. I think our motorcycle culture is dying. I think the biker culture, motorcycle culture, the rider culture, whatever you want to call it, because when you say biker, people go, oh, you're not a real biker. This guy's not a biker. I don't give a shit about that. I'm talking about the culture that affects everybody. From Mr. Hardcore Biker to Mr. Weekend Warrior to Mr. Rides twice a year to Mr. Rides every day and just calls himself a rider. Whatever. I'm asking you, what do we do to get it back? What do we do to make it where in the future people are wanting to ride? Because as people buy less and less motorcycles, they're making less and less motorcycles. They're closing up shops. We've seen dealerships close. We've seen people. It's happening. What do we do to change it? You tell me. I want to know because, hey, I mean, I have one tiny YouTube channel with like, I don't know, 7,500 subscribers. I don't have a huge, massive outreach like some people do. But what do we need to do? What do we need to change? What's going to make it better? I want to see you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. You guys are awesome to me, and I'm very fortunate and very blessed. Now, I want you guys to have a great day. Let's try not to be assholes to each other, and I'll see y'all next time.